Good evening, lads. Welcome back to the Regular Strength YouTube channel. I'm Tom. Tonight we're going to be going through our deadlift day. It's a deload day today. We're going to work up to 160 for a double. We did 160 for a triple last week. We're going to do a few back offsets. I don't know the weight just yet. We'll figure that out. And then we've got some squats and some other shit that we're going to do. I'm training a bit late tonight because I had someone come in to collect some work that I've done for them, and I've just had my tea. I don't normally train, I normally eat after training, so I imagine I'm going to feel quite sick while I'm training now. So we're going to sack off the accessories. We'll do the first 3 exercises, sack off the last 3 just in the interest of saving time. So maybe not super interesting today. The 160 should be cool. That's 160 for 2 shouldn't be too much of an ask, I'm hoping. But, you know, it's relatively up there in terms of my capabilities. So, let's get going. Yeah? Go to 100 next. So I was editing some of the videos and been having the issue with the volume being too loud. I watched one back on the TV the other day. The volume was really quiet, so maybe I've gone too far back in the other direction. So what I've done now is I've put it midway between the two. We went down to a level 7 on the camera. That seemed okay, but I was like, oh, maybe we could go a bit more. I went down to 5 and that seemed really quiet once I watched it back on YouTube once it had been uploaded. So we've gone with 6. Let me know if that's all right. Cool, we've got 130 for free, then we'll do 160. Don't know how good the belt's going to feel with a belly full of chicken and rice, but we're going to give it a go. Yep, horrible. 160 next. Okay, we got the 3 reps on this last week in the unrelenting heat of Turkish gym basement. So hopefully 2 can be smooth looking in my nice, cool garage. Yeah, no bother at all. So we're going to do 130 for a few sets of 5, 2 or 3. Being mindful that it is supposed to be sort of a deload week, so we don't want to do too many. I figure we'll do 130 this week, 132 the following week, 135 the week after that. That's the next 3 weeks on the back offsets. We're going to try go 160, which we got pretty steady. 170 next week, 180 the week after. I've never done 180 for a double before, so That should be pretty challenging. 170 should be steady away. You know, hard but not mental. The 180 should be pretty hard, but I think doable. And then the final 3 weeks is going to be 180, 190, 200. Hopefully the 190 is easier than it was last time I did it, and then hopefully the 200 goes. But that'll be the last week of the plan, and then we're going to start on the plan that I'm making. We're making good headway with it. Keep changing what I want to do with it, but the plan is I'm going to release 2. I'll probably just put them on Bootcamp so they're free. If anyone who watches this wants to follow them, that'd be cool. They should be out, you know, before I've finished whatever I'm doing here, which is kind of following someone else's plan, but kind of not really following it, just following my own thing with their exercise selection. But yeah, I should have a 3-day and a 4-day plan available. Maybe a 2-day as well, depending on how I'm feeling. Yeah, don't know. Be cool to get people running it, see if they like it. Train a bit like I am, trying to get a PR every so often, but not accumulate too much fatigue from trying. Yeah, we're just regular people who work full time, you know what I mean? We can't be killing ourselves. 5 of these. Stop rambling. Deadlift's feeling really good. Figured out a few little changes to the technique and it's feeling solid. Really good, really happy with that. Set 2, see how this feels, gauge whether we want to do a third or not. The way that last one felt, I feel like we could probably do a third. Feel okay, feel a little bit sick, a little bit full of food. We'll leave it at that. We've done a good couple of sets. We'll do a couple of sets of squats and then I think we've got lat pull down, we'll call it there. It's 20 to 9. It's a bit later than I usually like to train. So it'd be nice to get it wrapped up. Actually, we skipped a few sets of the deadlift in Turkey because it was baking hot and I felt like we were going to pass out. So we'll have a minute. We'll do this set. It's not super hard. I just having some approaching the middle age, so seems to be a regular occurrence. Okay, let's do 5 more then. Oh, good. Yeah, I think we needed that one. Do some safety bar squats, then we're nearly done. Right, we had 90 on here for a few sets of 12 last week. The week before. This is a deload week. We're going to do 70 kilo, and I'm not going to bother using knee sleeves or a belt. That would make it a bit more challenging than it would have been with those things, but with less weight, so it should remove a bit of fatigue. And we only have 10 reps instead of 12, which is nice. We've got the flat shoes as well, which probably ain't going to make a world of difference. Yeah, not bad. Let's do set 2. Might actually be quite a bit harder because I don't dare use my knees with the wraps on, whatever they're called, sleeves on, to spring back out of the bottom hard. Yeah, probably still alright. Whew. Right, let's do our last 10. Whew. Going much slower with these without the belt on. I feel like I can't feel my breath, even though it's there. Not bad. Not super challenging. Deload. It starts ramping up a little bit from next week. I think on the squat we're going to try a 150 double, which I say kind of terrifying. Should be fine. It was my PR, was it? For a little bit last year. So to do it for 2 would be nice. Steady progress. Then perhaps more ambitiously, I've got 160 for 2 planned the week after, which yeah, we'll see. If I get the groove right, then it should be all right. If it moves the way the 165 did in the last plan, because that was quick, I think I could have done that one for 2. So if we can get that for the 160 this time around, that would be sweet. What are we working up on the deadlift? We did 160 today, we do 170 next week. 170 should be fine. 180 for 2. We'll see. We're not even really aiming high. 180 for 2 should be well within my capabilities. And the end goal on the deadlift is 200, which should be well within what I can do. The goal at the end of the squat is a 180, which I think is ambitious. But if we can get 180, what are we, 4 months into the year, then we're ahead of where I thought I'd be at the end. If I could do a 200 kilo squat at some point, I didn't even think, I didn't even think 160 would happen, so 200 would be insane, but it doesn't feel out of the realms of possibility now, which is pretty nuts. So, I don't know, if you're just starting or if you're getting back into it after a while out and you think, oh, it'd be nice to do this, that and the other, you might get more. I And I think once you hit certain things, it opens your mind up, and like, why not? Why can't you do it? Sort of thing. So like, I'm in here, I'm training, I'm hitting all the numbers every week. So why can't I improve continually for a while? I've gained a little bit of weight. I was trying to go up to 105, but I think that the number is kind of arbitrary. I'm about 6'1", 6'2". I was 6'1 and a half last time I got measured. So I'm about 98 kilos. I think that's fine. I'm not super lean, but I'm not super fat. So it's a good place to be gaining strength, I think. Everything's moving pretty nicely, This deload week, it's feeling good. So with the deloads, I've kind of planned it to still have one reasonably hard set, but then drop the volume off of everything else, just so you have more recovery. And that way it keeps it interesting. So like the 160 for 2 today was fun. It was good. It's hard, but not max effort by any means. So with a traditional deload week, like with the 5-3-1 and everything like that, where you're supposed to have, I don't know, half weight, half sets, half whatever every 3 weeks, it's like 25% of the time you're not doing anything. And I don't know if that's really necessary when you can have like a working deload sort of thing, like a reload, if you will, where you drop the intensity but not necessarily the weight. I don't know. The guys who designed that are probably smarter than I am. But that sort of program, it's called Boring But Big, isn't it? So obviously it's boring. And I found it quite boring. I prefer the top set back off. Yeah. We'll see. Anyway, waffling. I've got lat pull downs now. Okay, we'll just do a couple of sets of these, and then that'll be us for the day. Right, that'll do us for the day. Not too much work today. The 160 was cool, but the rest of it fairly steady. Moving on, tomorrow we will have a bench press of some sort. We haven't done a rejigged Friday yet, so I guess we'll figure it out tomorrow. It'll just be like a primary bench, and then the overhead presses, bodybuilding afterwards, so that we've got 2 5 or less reps bench, heavier sets of bench throughout the week instead of the higher rep one. I don't really think I need for my goals anyway. If you're bodybuilding at the same time, maybe you need the higher reps. But my goal is to do a heavy single at the end, so twice a week with 5 or less will be good. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming.